What's up, everybody? Today we're going to recap last night's fight with Sebastian Fendora versus Cordell Booker and a special tribute honoring the legacy of Big George Foreman when we come right back. Welcome to another episode of Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean, and today we're going to cover a variety of subjects. And right now we're going to start off just kind of light on the surface, and then as we go on in this segment, we're going to do the tribute honoring the late great Big George Foreman. For those of you who may enter the chat, please put a candle or a dove emoji as you enter the chat in remembrance of Big George Foreman. And we'll just have a quick moment of silence for Big George Foreman. All right. So, hey, what's up, Cuzzo? Greetings back to you and much love. All right. So, for those of you who are chiming in, make sure you hit the like button as you enter the chat. And we're going to start off talking about the Fendora versus Booker fight last night. PBC on Amazon Prime. Fendora looked pretty good. I don't want to not give him credit because obviously he won the fight. He deserves all the credit. But I still have a certain sense of that unknowingly factor to where I need to see him against a few more opponents, different styles, maybe somebody his height, if there is anybody his height. He's like 6'6", so he is rather taller than majority of his opponents. I need to see him fighting a true puncher, somebody who can really hit in that weight division. Initially, for those who knew, Fendora's original opponent was Errol Spence. But due to whatever reasons, Errol Spence withdrew from that fight. So last night, there was a replacement for Errol Spence, and it was Cordell Booker. I thought Cordell would make a little bit better account of himself in that match, but it looked like he was just outclassed by Sebastian Fendora. Fendora did a little bit of inside and outside. He used his jab, and as he would step in forward towards Booker, he would unleash short punches. As tall as he is, he was able to get in there and land some hooks and things of that nature. A lot of combinations, and it was taking a toll on Cordell Booker from the beginning round, ultimately ending in a knockout of Cordell Booker. So, I guess the question I ask myself, and you may ask yourself, will Sebastian Fendora avenge the loss that he has and once again fight Mendoza, in which he was winning most of those rounds against Mendoza until he got caught and he was knocked out. Now, that's one thing about boxing. You could be winning every round. If it's a 12-round fight, if it's a 10-round fight, you could be winning 9 of 10 rounds, and then in the 10th round, you get caught with a punch you don't see, and you're out for the count. Yet you were winning every round, and it looked promising that victory was right within your grasp. And just that fast, boom, you get caught with a punch you didn't see, and you're leveled out. Now that kind of happens many a times when you think of Gervonta Tank Davis. He's one to where he's normally losing on the scorecards, but then around the mid rounds to the championship rounds, he'll rev up and he'll take it up a notch. He'll go in another gear. And we've seen that a whole lot throughout his career. You could be beating him from round 1 to round 7, and then in round 7 or 8, boom, he knocks you out, and all that you did ends up crumbling down. A similar scenario with Dillian White in the heavyweight division. In the first fight against Povetkin, he was winning every round. And then he was caught and knocked out with a deceptive uppercut from Alexander Povetkin. So I say that to say, versus Mendoza, Sebastian Fundora was winning up until the point of being knocked out. So that's all a part of boxing. You can't outpoint or win 9 rounds and get knocked out and say you won the fight. You have to still be on your toes when the decision comes at the end of 10 or 12 rounds in order to win a fight. So it's a situation to where if he fights Mendoza again, he can definitely make adjustments. But at the same time, I feel like Mendoza himself will be making proper adjustments for Sebastian Fundora if they are to fight in a rematch. Because although you won the fight, the first fight, or if it's a trilogy, for instance, you won the first 2 fights. Well, you won 1 fight and lost 1 fight. You want to make sure in that rematch or that third fight that you do certain things. You're sharper in certain areas defensively and offensively in order to be better prepared and for a higher probability of winning. So with that in mind, I'm pretty sure Mendoza, if he fights Sebastian Fundora again, he will make the necessary adjustments to win the next fight, maybe even more convincingly than he did the time before in the first fight. So we'll just see what happens with Sebastian Fundora, who he wants next. I'm not sure about Errol Spence. Is he going to eventually come back and fight a tune-up fight? Or is he even going to be boxing anymore? Some people say he should retire. What is your opinion? Should Errol Spence retire? Let it be known in the chat or in the comment if you feel that Errol Spence should retire from boxing. Or do you still feel that he has enough fire in his belly to still continue in the sport of boxing, which is a gladiator sport? It's a very, very rough and tough sport. And you need to be at your peak condition anytime you step in the ring. Peak condition physically and mentally. So if you feel that Errol Spence has that all intact, let me know what you feel. I'm kind of on the fence. I'm kind of like, I would like to see him because I'm a fan. But if it's in the best interest of his health to step away from boxing, I can do nothing but respect that. So right now it's kind of like we don't know what Errol Spence is going to do. That's up to him to talk to his family and figure out where he goes from here. I also want to talk about Lamont Roach, his next move. For those who don't know who Lamont Roach was, you definitely know who he is now because he fought Gervonta Tank Davis and made a very good account of himself. Not only did he give Tank a tough fight, it went all rounds to a decision that ended up being a draw. The very first draw of Tank's career was given to him by none other than Lamont Roach Jr. So that definitely will catapult the name and the resume and everything associated with Lamont Roach Jr. will catapult and go up. So that was what he needed to put him in the like in that limelight to where he's known on another level. He's not just a person where you're like, who is Lamont Roach Jr.? He demands that respect because he gave Tank the toughest fight of Tank's career. So shout out to Lamont Roach Jr. I was told by my homeboy, so shout out to Cam J. Hey, what's up, my guy? What's up, Cam? Just talked your name up. I was told by my guy Cam J that the fight is definitely happening. The rematch is definitely happening with Tank versus Lamont Roach Jr. I'm looking forward to it. If it happens, it's going to be another banger, and I know a lot of people will be on the edge of their seats because by no means is Lamont Roach Jr. a pushover. He was in the pocket. Um, I mean, it could be debated that maybe Tank, they do have history. They are friends. They did fight in the amateurs, so I don't want to take any shine away from Lamont Roach Jr. because he did what he had to do. But I guess it's a situation to where was it something to where maybe Tank held back because he's giving his partner a payday and he's like, you know what, I'm not gonna go full throttle. I'm gonna kind of hold back a little bit. And in doing so, it ended up in a draw, right? He was in a position he's never been in. Tank has never had a draw. So that's too close for comfort. So when they fight in the rematch, Cam J says June 21st in Vegas, T-Mobile Arena is the rematch. So if they fight in this rematch in June, do you feel that Tank is going to be on form? Tank is going to be the Tank that we know him to be. Will Tank knock out Lamont Roach Jr. if there is a rematch? Or could it be the other way around? Could Tank get knocked out by Lamont Roach Jr.? You know, he does have decent power. He didn't seem to be afraid. So I think the second fight is going to show us where Tank is mentally because he did talk at one time that he was going to retire soon. And maybe, in my opinion, I felt like maybe his passion wasn't the same for boxing. He has his own reasons on why, but Tank came off to the media like he wanted to fight a few more fights and then call it quits. You know what I'm saying? So only time will tell what Gervonta Tank Davis will do in his future. And whatever he does, I respect it. You know, if he does retire after a few more fights, hey man, enjoy your life, man. You made a lot of money. You achieved a lot of knockouts, and you did what you wanted to accomplish in the sport of boxing. So shout out to Gervonta Tank Davis as well. Um, And we'll be having a fight coming up soon too. For those who may be fans of Jerron Boots Ennis out of Philly, Pennsylvania, he will be fighting a Mantis Stanionis. And Stanionis is a pretty skillful fighter. Um, I just don't know that he's on the level of Boots Ennis, but he's definitely one to where it's a good fight to kind of see um how Boots Ennis handles this fight, you know. But then again, I don't personally see it being like Lamont Roach versus Tank, a back and forth and end up in a draw. I feel like Boots Ennis is going to control the fight. He's very skilled. He's a natural switch hitter, orthodox southpaw. He's very nice. Cam J says Boots versus Stanionis, April 12th in Atlantic City. Well, that's what's up, man. So how was your prediction, Cam J? Boots Ennis versus Stanionis. How do you see that going? You say Cam J, Tank and Roach won't be too friendly. Yeah, man, for sure, man. I feel like the rematch is going to be hopefully it'll be like a Holyfield versus Riddick Bowe, all out war. You know, these two guys are good friends till this day, but Holyfield and Riddick Bowe, they did not act like friends in the ring. It was a crazy fight. A lot of power shots on both sides, Holyfield and Riddick Bowe, going back and forth. So hopefully we get that with Roach Jr. versus Tank Davis in a rematch. That either guy's gonna go for broke, and they're gonna let it all hang out and give us an exciting fight. Also, man, I want to take a little time to give much props to Joseph Parker. So if you see this, Joseph Parker, big shout outs to you. He's what I call a throwback fighter. I really like those type of guys because what makes them a throwback fighter is they're fighting all these guys that nobody else wants to face. They're willing to fight whoever is put in front of them. It doesn't matter who it is. You know, whether they're 6'2", 6'4", 6'5". Joseph Parker is willing to step in the ring as a smaller man and fight the giants of the heavyweight division. Cam J, you say, I'll give my full take on Boots standing on this when you jump on. Love this fight. Okay, that's what's up, man. Um, so we'll definitely be covering that when you jump on. Um, let's also talk about uh Daniel Dubois, Usyk, and Parker. That triangle. Um, and how that would pan out. You know what I'm saying? Um, but just before we go into that part of our segment, I'm gonna do a little bit on Big George Foreman. All right, y'all. So George Edward Foreman, he was born on January 10th, 1949, in Marshall, Texas. He passed away March 21st of this year at the age of 76 in Houston, Texas. His height was 6'3". His reach 78 inches. His stance orthodox, right hand punch power. But he also had a lot of power in that left. That's one thing about George Foreman. He had so much power in the left that he could hurt you either way. He had an astonishing 81 total fights. Of 81 fights, George Foreman had 76 wins. And he had 68 wins by knockout. Cuzzo, thanks for the candles, Cuzzo. When you enter the chat, please leave a candle emoji or a dove in remembrance of Big George. And George Foreman had 68 knockouts, 76 wins, and 5 losses. That's a beautiful resume and a beautiful record in a golden era of boxing. Now, I'm not going to single it out to say that was the only golden age of boxing, but the 1970s and the George Foreman 1960s, 1970s was definitely a golden era of boxing where you had the best fighting the best. It wasn't what you see in today's standards, to where a lot of the top boxers are not fighting other top boxers. They want to pick and choose their opponents, what we call cherry pick. Well, back then, the best fought the best. You know what I'm saying? You had Ali fighting Ken Norton. You had Ken Norton fighting Larry Holmes. You had Ken Norton fighting George Foreman. You had Frazier fighting Ali. You had Frazier fighting George Foreman. You know, you had Ernie Shavers fighting Ali. Ernie Shavers fighting Ken Norton. Ernie Shavers fighting Larry Holmes. So all the top crop of the heavyweight division in the 1970s, they all fought each other. The only fight we didn't get to see, in which Cam J did some research on, we didn't get to see the fight of Larry Holmes versus George Foreman. And both guys are like 1 year apart. But what happened was, at the time George had retired, that's when Larry Holmes was at his peak in his division, in the same division. And he wasn't able to fight Foreman because Foreman had retired at the time. So Larry Holmes, did get a chance to fight Ken Norton, and he did get a chance to fight Ernie Shavers and Muhammad Ali. Okay, so George Foreman, he had somewhat of a troubled childhood, and he took up amateur boxing. He won gold medal in the heavyweight division in the summer of 1968 Summer Olympics. He turned professional the next year, and he won the world heavyweight title with a stunning second round knockout of the undefeated at the time Joe Frazier in the year of 1973. That was even before I was born. So this is some historical history right here, y'all. So let's jump into his record more in depth. All right. So once again, 76 wins, 68 by knockout, 5 losses, no draws. Big George Foreman Um, in the year of 1969, he fought Don Waldham in June of 1969. Um, the year after that, August 1970, he fought George Chuvalo. January 1973, he fought Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier was known as he was well known for fighting Ali. So when you think of Ali, you think of Frazier. And Frazier was stopped and knocked out by Big George Foreman in 1973. In March of 1974, Ken Norton versus Foreman, and Foreman wins by KO. Later in that same year, October 30th, 1974, um, Ali versus Foreman happened. We also know that as the Rumble in the Jungle. And Ali handed Big George Foreman his very first loss of his career. And in different interviews, George Foreman talks about how he took that loss. He took the loss very hard to Muhammad Ali over in Africa. In the year of 1976, he had a war with Ron Lyle. Ron Lyle was a very big guy, similar height, similar reach to George Foreman. And it was a back and forth dogfight. Lyle dropped George Foreman a few times, and in return, George dropped Lyle a few times, and eventually, George Foreman ended up knocking out Ron Lyle in 1976. Of March of 1977, he fought a slick fighter, Jimmy Young, who outclassed Big George Foreman, sticking and moving, and beat Big George on decision. So now Big George Foreman had two losses: Muhammad Ali, and now a loss to Jimmy Young. After the loss to Jimmy Young, George Foreman goes on another winning streak with a streak of knockouts and stoppages. From March 87 to September 1990. In the year of 1991, in April, the young up and coming Evander Holyfield fought the veteran Foreman after George Foreman had came back into boxing out of retirement. He had been back in the boxing scene for a little while, and I believe at the time Holyfield was supposed to fight either Razor Ruddock or someone else, but it ended up being George Foreman that came to fruition. It probably was a better from a business aspect. George Foreman is a vet, well known, and George Foreman had knocked out Cooper, I believe it was. So now I was able to see. Now this is the year of 1991. So at that time, I'm like 11 years old. So I kind of vividly remember Holyfield versus George Foreman, and I kind of remember the build up to the fight and the commercial. And George Foreman's in a rocking chair, and then Holyfield says something back to Foreman, basically saying, "You're off your rocker" or something like that. And what you had was a clash of an up and coming Holyfield, who was once a cruiserweight, fighting the big, stronger George Foreman. the knockout puncher. The youth and the versatility and the speed of Holyfield end up being a defining factor, but it was still end up being a very, very good fight. And Holyfield said to this day that the hardest puncher he ever faced was Big George Foreman. Mind you, this is a Foreman who was probably, I believe, in his 40s, early 40s. That fight ended up going to a decision, and Holyfield won. Holyfield was very smart because he could have got greedy. He could have went in there and tried to go for a knockout and force a knockout. If Holyfield would have tried to force a knockout of Big George Foreman, like Michael Moore did years after, Holyfield most likely would have been knocked out himself. He was very smart in picking his shots. He did get in a lot of exchanges with George Foreman, but he was kind of doing it in spurts. If you haven't seen Foreman versus Holyfield, and you're a true boxing fan, or even if you just kind of watch boxing, get on YouTube and pull up Holyfield versus Foreman. A very, very good fight. All right, so in June of 1993, Big George Foreman suffers his third loss, or it's actually his fourth loss, to Tommy Morrison. At that time, Tommy Morrison was climbing up the ranks and was a pretty formidable opponent in the boxing world. Tommy Morrison had knocked out Razor Ruddock. He was giving a lot of trouble to Ray Mercer before Ray Mercer ended up knocking out Tommy Morrison. But Tommy Morrison was pretty resilient. He had good power. He was a big guy. And he ended up beating Big George Foreman in the year of 1993 in June. So that was the fourth loss for Big George Foreman. November of 1997, one of the last fights of the career of George Foreman, he fought Shannon the Cannon Briggs, and he lost to Shannon Cannon, and that was his last loss of his Dynamite career. So that was his 5 losses right there, y'all. But as you can see, aside of his losses, in between those losses and all these fights, he had a streak of wins, a streak of knockouts. Just a phenomenal boxer. And everybody who has met Big George Foreman on interviews, on TV, they all speak highly of him. They say he was the nicest and the most humble guy. He also, during his first retirement, before he came back into boxing, when he retired, he went into ministry. He was a minister. And then once he came back into boxing, I believe age 38, and then retired in his 40s. Once he retired for good, he became a household name for many who knew him as a champ, but for those who may not have known him, he was known worldwide and internationally because he came out with the George Foreman grill. And he sold a lot of grills. I, for one, had 2 of his grills. And I used to use it for every day. You could cook your food, walk away for a couple minutes, come back, and he did a phenomenal job with the George Foreman grill. And if you had a George Foreman grill, or if you still have a George Foreman grill, please let it be known in the chat room, y'all. And for those who want to jump on, we are about to get ready to have you as our guest. The link will be in the chat. So you can chime on in. All right. So all right. Can you hear me? Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
You.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Um. So so what was your feelings on the boots Ennis versus Mantis Stanionis?
You. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. So, what was your feelings on the boots Ennis versus Manchester Stadium? Oh yeah, man. I like the fight, man, for sure. Um, I personally think this is a good fight for Boots as far as the 147-pound division. About time for Boots. He's able to unify at 147 because that's something that he's been wanting to do recently, and I'm definitely excited for it. I think it's gonna be a good fight for him. I think I got Boots, winning this fight definitely. Um, I definitely got Boots winning this fight, possibly by knockout. I think this is like a fight, kind of like the Roman Villa fight, where he put on a great performance. He looked real sharp, on offense and defense on both sides, and I definitely got Boots winning. I think it's gonna be by knockout this fight, man.
Okay, that's what's up. And before we politic a little more, let everybody know who you are. Let everybody know who you are and what you do as well.
Yeah, man. KMJ Network, man. Okay, I'm back on.
Yeah, you back in. I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, KMJ Network, man. Um, I do various sports for real, mainly football, boxing, basketball. I got my own YouTube channel as well on YouTube, where I just did a live stream earlier, talking about the landscape of the lightweight division earlier. So I'm active on all socials with all content, far as football, basketball, boxing, but definitely I'll be cooking up on the boxing on a weekly basis, man, covering the fights. You know what I'm saying? Giving up, a lot of my takes on a lot of the updated topics on boxing weekly. You know what I mean? So you just got to check my page out and just stay tuned in, man.
Most definitely, man. I appreciate all the love, man, and just chopping it up with you. It's been real, and we both passionate about the same sport, so it makes it even a lot easier.
So you just gotta check my page out and stay tuned in, man.
Hey, what's going on, Sean? Sean C. What's going on? Um,
Yeah, said it again.
yeah. So what'd you feel about that? Sebastian Fedora and that Cordell Booker fight last night.
I think it's kind of hard for me to see you on screen on here.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, said it
Can you see
again.
me now?
Yeah, cause I gotta see you through YouTube. Like while I'm on YouTube, like to hear what you're saying, cause I can't hear you through here through the link that you sent me.
Oh, okay. So you can't hear me through the link. You have
Yeah, cause I
earpiece
gotta
in?
see you through YouTube. Like while I'm on YouTube, like to hear what you're saying, cause I can't hear you through here through the link that you sent me. Yeah, I can't hear you through the link. Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I got my AirPod in. Do I need to take it out or?
You got his ear thing in. He
Yeah,
can't
I
hear
can't
you
hear
through the
you
link.
through the link.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I got my AirPod in. Do I need to take it out or?
Nah. Now, see how it go now. Let me know if you can hear me through the link. All right. Is it any better?
You want me to try to um go back in, come back out and go come back in?
Yeah. Try that. See what happens.
You want me to try to um go back in, come back out and go come back in? Okay.
Okay. Excessively Black LLC. Shout outs to you. I appreciate the candle for Big George Foreman. Rest in peace, Big George. Rest in power, Big George Foreman. And if you're in the chat, hit the thumbs up, please. Hit that thumbs up and drop a candle or a dove in remembrance of Big George Foreman. Okay. All right. Can you hear me now, bro? Hello. Can you hear me? Oh yeah, I see you now. Can you hear me? Okay. Make sure your mic is on. Yeah. Can you hear me? I can't hear him. Is your mic on? Okay. If you can hear me, bro, we have no audio on you. Um, should he reset? Hey, try to reset. Right. Okay. Hey, check the chat. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
What's up?
Yeah, I can hear.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So where was we was talking. Boots Family on is April 12th, right?
Um. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think it's definitely an exciting fight, man, for the 140 pound, 147 pound division. Boots, this is a fight that he needs. He needs to be able to, test himself, with the top guys at 147, and definitely been a dream of his as far as unifying that 147, and I definitely think he gonna pass the test with this fight for sure. Definitely believe this is a fight that's gonna be similar to the performance that he put on with Roman Phillips. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely excited to see Boots gets his opportunity to unify, and I got Boots by knockout, man, in this fight, man. I got Boots by knockout in this fight. I think he's gonna turn up and really put on
Yeah.
a great performance April 12th.
Hey, bro. Um, okay, I'm not.
What's up?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. It was a lot of static at first.
Oh yeah, I did too. Now I don't hear that. It sounds like it's gone. Okay. Um, yeah, man. I think as you said, Boot's gonna hold it down, man. He's nice. He's got the skills. Uh, and he act like he want to smoke. At least that's how he acts. Like Boots. Like he want the Crawfords. He wanted the Errol Spence. Hey, what's up? What's up, bro?
What's up, brother? You all right?
Big
How y'all
Rob.
doing?
And what's good with you?
Everything, man. Just chilling out, man. Just enjoying the Sunday.
That's what's up, man. If you can, drop a candle in the chat, Rob. Drop a candle or a dove in memory
Oh,
of Big
shoot.
George.
Okay. Yee. I'm not sure how to do that from here. You know what? Let me see something.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I'm just going to just type it in there. Oh no, there it is. There it is. Uh, oh yeah, I want to say a couple words about Big George. Okay, I
Okay.
just sent one.
All right.
I think I
Good.
just sent it in there. All right. Hopefully it went through because it said it went through.
Okay.
Um, Man, what's crazy was I was literally just last week watching George fight Dwight Muhammad Cowie. I don't know what made me want to watch that fight, but I watched because I seen somebody posted a few highlights. So I sat down and actually watched it, man. Cowie, to be that small, man, to be that rugged, went up and challenged George. I mean, he got the crap beat out of him, but he had a lot of heart to go up and do that against a much bigger man. He took some punishment, but man, that loss yesterday on Friday hit me hard because I had just got off from work, literally, and I came home and my dude Paul Mango, who I messed with, he posted it, and I was like, "What?" I went and looked it up, man, and it's all over the news everywhere, man. And to show you how big George was, just like his personality, ABC, like regular news people were chiming in on this guy, man. He was one of the greats out there, man. I remember he told the story though why he actually got back into boxing after 10 years. He said he said his business partner at that time, I forgot his name, stole from him, and he was in danger of losing everything. And he told his wife, yo, like this is what I know. This is how I know how to make money, and I'm gonna get back in it. And he went on a historic run and came face to face with Holyfield. And like y'all know, in '91, I think that was my first pay per view experience with that fight. Um, even though he lost unanimously, I think he won more hearts than anything that night. And then for him to beat Michael Moore in that fight, man, that was an awesome experience too, man. Because Moore was doing good, man. But I'm watching the fight. I watched it last night again. Teddy Atlas is like, bro, he gonna try to steal moments here. Stop moving into his right hand. Stop moving into his right hand. And Moore just hard headed, man. He walked
Yeah.
right into it,
Right
man.
into it. Yeah.
But George, man, was doing something in that fight uh, that I've seen Wilder do to what's that star partner Ortiz. He hit him to the body with a left hook and pushed him towards the right hand, and he did it again, and then he did it again, and then he threw like a left hook. He landed two left hooks in the 10th round, and he missed the last two. And then he just set it, he hit him straight ahead. Then he lowered it to his chin and knocked him out, man. But George was one of those big fighters, man, that one brought excitement to the game. I like the second Foreman better because he was more of a boxer. He was brutal. That first go round, he was a monster. Like, uh, and what he did to George Frazier, I mean Joe Frazier, man, it wasn't funny, man, but it was funny, man, because one of them knockdowns, Joe Frazier jumped to one knee like, skip this, I'm done. And but George said in that fight, he said that Joe Frazier threw a left hook and it zinged like that close to his face. And he was like, no, I need to get this guy out of here and get him out right now, or it's lights out for me. And that's how he ended up knocking him down like 6 times and they stopped the fight.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, he said that left hook just went right by his face, man, and it barely missed him. And that's what made him just turn it up. Man, but yeah, but shout out to Big George, man. Shout out to him. Uh
Facts. Facts. Legendary career, man.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Yeah,
And
and
I'm
I
glad he.
mean just to add to George Foreman, I mean just look at the guys he fought. I mean Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier twice, Evander Holyfield, Ken Norton, Ryan Lau, Burt Cooper, Gary Cooney,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Moore,
Cor-
Tommy Morris,
Corey.
Shannon Briggs. Like man, like this, he got a legendary resume, man, for sure.
Man, for real, dude. I'm glad. I'm glad on the business side that he was able to establish that grill and make a lot of money because man, we see a lot of boxers, y'all, go out of the game and lose their fortune, man, one way or another. Like Sugar Ray Robinson, that cat named Homicide Hank, man, and that's no shot to those guys, man. But he was able to do that and live comfortably after boxing.
Right,
So
right,
big
right.
ups to him for that. Big ups,
Mm-hmm.
man.
Most definitely, man. Yeah, most definitely. All right, man. Well, you just came in and Cam was kind of talking about Stanionis and Boots Ennis.
Yeah, I was just about to get in on that. I wanted to chime in on that. Man, look, Boots is one of those fighters who is caught up in a high risk, low reward, and we've seen them over the years, man. When you don't bring nothing to the table, the big financially or crowd wise, man, the big guys ain't gonna mess with you. I think that this is his big opportunity to make a statement, not only for himself but to raise his level in terms of status. Now I will say this: even if he beats how you say his name? I forgot.
Stanionis.
Even if he beats Stanionis and beats him convincingly, sometimes, not all the time,
I
sometimes that
think
can
that
still
this is
play
his
against you
big.
because it's like, yo, man, he just took down that cat in the fashion that he did. I'm still not gonna mess with him. But if it goes like 10 rounds and Stanionis give him a good fight, they be like, okay, he's vulnerable a little bit, so we might give him a shot, man. But I think he gonna have to just carve his own path out because ain't boxing, and at least at that weight class, there is no other big names out there that's just can bring him a pay-per-view fight or even a giant payday unless he gets on one of Turkey's cards.
Right. Yeah, I mean the 147 division isn't the glamour division anymore. I mean a lot of those guys that was there, that was the top guys, they're all at 154, 160 now. And
Mm-hmm.
you got the other champions, Mario Barrios, and you got Brian Norman Jr. that he got the belt over there at top rank. Brian Norman Jr. He fights this next Saturday on the Meyer Ryan 2 card on top rank. I mean,
Okay.
and he's fighting a guy that he definitely should stop. So I mean, Brian Norman Senior and Junior, both of them guys are talking about they want to fight Boots. They was in negotiations to fight Boots a few months ago, but Brian Norman they wanted more money, and Boots and them, they moved on to end up fighting as mandatory and fighting the one cat that he had the tough fight with. I can't think of his name right now at the moment. But fought him, and now you got Boots fighting Standing on this now, and unifying up at 147. What Brian Norman Jr. gonna do next? I mean, if Boots gets through Standing on this, then Boots gonna be looking forward to trying to get those other two straps to 147. Brian Norman Jr. gonna have to come back to the table.
Bruh, let me tell you something now, Cam. I don't think that fight's gonna happen because at least not right now anyway. They want Norman to enjoy that belt. That's why they ask for more money. They like,
Oh
yo,
yeah,
if we gonna get beat up, yo, you got to come with the goods because you ain't just you ain't gonna pay me
right,
cheap and I'm gonna lose my belt. You want me to sell it up? So he said no. I think that
right.
fight is like maybe two or three fights down the road, man. I don't think they'll even do that next. Like, and that's just being honest. He's a good fighter, but he just got the belt. They want him to enjoy it, make some defenses, get a name up there. And I think when they're ready to cash out on him, then that fight will happen. And that's if Boots stays there long enough for it to happen.
Yeah, most definitely, man. As far as with Boots, I mean the thing about that is waiting 2, 3 fights down the line. You gotta think about it. Boots is a big guy at 147.
Yeah.
Some of those big name fights, some of those big money fights is at 154. He gonna be having to look up to go up to 154 eventually for sure.
I mean, and he can't keep making. I don't know how he doing with his weight now, but eventually he gonna start growing out of that weight, man. Like you can't keep squeezing down like that and be effective.
Facts, Facts.
I'm gonna throw this out there, man. And this is a long shot. I even see Keith Urban trying to get at Boots.
Yeah.
Just for the heck of it.
I mean, Keith Thurman, he coming off a win last week. He's fighting at 154 currently.
Oh
Um,
yes.
yeah, Tim Zoo, he has
Oh,
a fight coming up against Joey Spencer in April coming up, and so PBC's looking to match Tim Zoo and Keith Thurman back up.
okay,
If
okay.
Tim Zoo wins his next fight versus Joey Spencer, which that is a tough fight for Tim Zoo, and Tim Zoo is coming off two losses right now, basically losing to Fundora last year and losing to Dakron a couple months ago towards the end of the
Man, dog, he took that. He was not there in that fight, man. That shit. I mean, I can't say it's a cakewalk, and you're never supposed to let your guard down against nobody, man. But I think he overlooked him, bro. No way he should have been
He
beat like
definitely
that.
did. He said it too in a recent interview that I seen from him that he overlooked Bakram and he thought he was just gonna run through Bakram. Well, Bakram, that's a tough dude at 154, man. And he just called out Fundora last night after Fundora winning his fight last night.
Ah, man, that's and you hate to see that happen to him because like the Fundora fight, he was starting to figure Fundora out too up until he cut his head. But
Yeah,
man, then
I
you go
think he
back and
would have
you
won
lose
that
that.
fight if that didn't happen.
I do. I think Spencer, even right now, I think Spencer destroyed Fundy, man. No lie. Fundy's a good dude, but I think Spencer destroyed him. But I don't think Spencer's gonna fight no more. I think he's done for.
I think Smith, I think he gonna come back. I think he gonna come back. He, I seen him recently. I think I follow him heavy for us. Like I'm a big Earl Spence fan.
Me too.
Watching him on watching him on Twitter and watching him on his IG first. He shared a lot of stuff on his IG story and
Okay.
everything. So he's been talking about like yeah, the alcohol, him drinking kind of messed up his career, and he was
Hmm.
encouraging other fighters not to, to take care of their bodies and not,
I saw
drink
that. I saw that.
so much. Stay in the gym, stay becoming a gym rat in the gym. And he was basically saying that a lot of people was, in the comments saying that they is early, are you done and stuff like that. He said, I've been training, and then he showed a video of him, of his body and stuff. So his body looked like he's in good shape, in great
Hmm.
shape. You know what I mean? So Earl, I think it's all about finding a new trainer right now because he got the whole situation with him and Derek Gaines with the lawsuit and everything. So
Right.
Earl, gotta find a new trainer. Of course, the Fundora fight is kind of looking like that's off the table right now. But Earl, I think my personal one for Earl is I want him to get you a tune-up fight, man. See where you at. Get a feel for for the ring again. You know what I'm saying? Back with the lights and everything, and then
Right.
go for a big fight at 154. I wish he was able to go to 160, but I mean 154 means it looks like that's the most logical weight for him. You know what I mean?
Hey,
For him
hey,
coming up at 47.
great points. Hey, Cam, if you can hear me, my peoples in the chat said you're you sound a little bit distorted for some reason. The um the audio is chopping up a little bit.
No. How you hear me perfect now?
Nah, you still kind of distorted on my end.
Cool. Okay. Now I hear you hear me better now.
Yeah, it still got that distorted
Voice
noise on it though.
it's a little bit distorted.
Yeah, it's a distortion. Like we can hear your voice. Your voice is, it's coming out, but then it's like a distortion with it, like a static or whatever. Do you have another another mic or another headphone, maybe.
Hold on. Give me a second.
Okay.
Hey Eugene, who you think he should start training with? Like who is for Spence? Who you think his new trainer should be?
Um, because who did he have again? Who was his trainer?
Derek James.
That's right, Derek James, the one that because he was training one of the Charlos too, right?
Yep.
Uh,
I think the 154 Charlo.
what do you think about what's the name? What's that one dude? You like Ronnie Shields?
Yeah, I think he'd get good with him. I like Barry Hunter too.
I know Ronnie Shields like those type of guys that I think with Holyfield back in the day, he
Hmm
did jailed
I,
real good with him.
I think he trained Tyson too in this for one of his fights in the second half of his career.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Man, dude, I haven't seen Crawford make no effort to get in the ring. I think he's just gonna sit this one out up until September. I'm gonna tell you though, I think that's dumb, but I see the reasoning in it. Uh, he don't want to take that chance to lose, but I think if he went to like a fight at 160, he can kind of get acclimated a little better rather than trying to make a two division jump. However, we've seen cats make that two division jump uh, and not be as effective. The only person I know just off the top of my head that made a two division jump was Thomas Hearns. I think after his first loss, if I and I'm willing to be corrected now. I think
hmm
after his loss to Ray Leonard, he jumped to 160 and fought Ernie Singletary. And then he came back down to 154 and started campaigning there. I think after a while, he went from 160 to 175. I know I don't think it was a super middleweight division at that time when he went up and fought Dennis Andres. So I'm just kind of using the weight part of it. He went from 160 to 175, then came back down to 160 and fought Ron Rodan. But like Mickey Garcia, Marquez when he fought Floyd, uh, that one jump man can it be a doozy, man, because you don't know how you doing with your stamina and your punches and all of that. And then I think when Marquez got beat, he went back down to 140 and slow walked it back up there. I think he should take a fight, man, but I don't think he's gonna do it. I don't think he want to risk that losing.
right,
I mean, I can't blame him.
definitely, yeah, definitely. Um, I was talking to my cousin last night, Rob. We was talking
Hmm
about Tank and Roach. Do you think that it was kind of more or less? And I don't want to be into fall deep into a conspiracy or try to make
hmm
excuses, but do you think it was kind of like Tank looking out for somebody he consider a homie, and he kind of really didn't go in there on some like I'm trying to do you like I'm trying to do you bad like I did everybody else.
Uh, I don't put it past him, man. Uh, I think he held. It looked like he was holding back a little bit, man. Because I think in like round 6 or 7, I think if Tank really wanted to push it, I think he could have got him out of there. Tank took some good shots, and I remember, and I think I told you this. I said, man, I think you threw something out there, and I was like, man, maybe he was setting it up for the second fight to see what this
Yeah,
dude got.
yeah, you did say that. Yeah, you were saying
Okay, yeah,
that.
like man, I'm gonna push him a little bit and see what he got. Because when the fight was announced, first of all, nobody really liked it. It was like, oh, he fighting this guy, he gonna walk all over him. And so you get in the ring, and then they find out that he's not a pushover. He let him hang in there, and now you generate more interest for the second fight.
Right.
I think if they fight again, he gonna be like, okay, now people will take interest in the fight, and I'm gonna put this dude away. But I think there was some level of him holding back. I'm not gonna even lie about it. I didn't know they were friends or homeboys and like that until you just said it. But there's a part of me that believes he didn't go all the way on purpose.
Oh yeah. So I gotta ask Cam the same question. Can you hear me, Cam?
Cam, we can't hear you.
Yeah, if you hear us, we can't hear you, but we can see you though. make sure your audio or your mic is on the settings.
What you think, man? What's your thoughts on that?
I'm kind of I'm kind of in between, man. Part of me thinks that that is could be as you had said before, and then my cousin just happened to say what you had already said that you think it was for the benefit of a rematch.
Hmm.
It could be, man. You know, you just never know. You never
Do
know.
what's the name, man? I was reading it last about 2 weeks ago. Benavidez, dude. I told a lot of people. I said, my man, he's in a rock and a hard place right now. Um, I told everybody he wasn't gonna get his title shot next, number one, and that was just going off the strength of that's four belts that Bivol got now. He got to defend all four. I don't know if the WBC was up next anyway. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But even if he didn't do the trilogy, you got the IBF, you got the WBO, you got the WBA, and then you got him. And I don't know who's next. And so even at the earliest, man, even if it did go that way without the trilogy, next year, and this dude, they fight what twice a year. You're looking at next May or April, whatever, and then you're looking at that year. Then you're looking at 2027, two more fights, one fight for the WBO or the IBF, and then you got the fourth one. So really, in real life, man, he probably won't even get a shot until much later, unless my man just feels generous to give it to him. And I don't think the WBC is going to strip either one because number one, right now, even though Suleiman went off on Turkey after he dropped his, hey, I'm gonna crush everybody and I don't need nobody. Suleiman came out and said, "Who you talking to?" and all that, but then he fell back in bed with it because if they do the trilogy, he gonna get his hot three. You know what I'm saying? They can sanction it and make some money off of it. Even if they do strip him, I don't think they're gonna strip him because again, they still want to make some money with Turkey and they in bed with him too. So man, I think at this point he probably gonna have to go up another weight class, bro, and fight for either the IBF or the WBO.
Mm.
Like that's just looking at the situation, man. Because those are the only two that's not that have that still they grind against Turkey in that regard.
Facts. I agree. I
Or
agree. I
unless
think,
or unless he sides with Turkey. Go ahead, my fault.
yeah, yeah, you got good. I mean, I think with Turkey trying to blackball this fight a little bit is real nasty work, man. Bivol, the thing is you got to look at it with the WBC. David Benavidez was Canelo's mandatory for 3 years straight, and the fact that the WBC they allow him to move up to 175 and they make him mandatory for for the winner of the Beterbiev and Bivol rematch. And now it was them first talks. They was in negotiations at first, and then now they saying that it's fall through because Turkey wants this fight over there in Saudi Arabia and David Benavidez. And if you watch recent interviews from Samson Likowitz, David Benavidez manager, he said they're not kissing the ring for Turkey. They're
Yeah.
not going to fight over there in Saudi Arabia. They're going. David Benavidez is building a real nice fan base over there in the U.S. and he wants to continue to do that. And they would love to fight Bevel over there in the U.S. currently right
Hmm.
now. And it looks like Turkey is trying to go all the way against the grain on that right now. Now we probably gonna end up getting the Turbiev Bevel three probably most
Oh,
likely.
Ado
Which
probably.
I'm cool with that fight. I think it's well deserved for them to run that fight back because it's 1-1, honestly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if the WBC, if they're mandating Bivol to fight Benavidez, then you need to continue with the mandate. Like yeah, it's only fair to do so. Like yeah, it's only so long that y'all can keep holding David Benavidez back
Right,
from
right, right.
being able to capture,
Yeah.
these titles from 168 to 175. Like it's just looking bad on the sanctioning body.
That's the thing, man. And I read, I saw what you read, and even Lukowitz said he sent them an offer like, "Yo, we got this going on," and then Turkey was like, yo, Bivol, you know who got you here. You know who did this for you. That's like, dude, so you gonna give me a
Right,
shot and then throw it in my face and hold it on my hand like that? I'd have been like, okay, you know what? Since you're gonna do that, I'm gonna go ahead and do this match anyway, and step aside. But again, that's Hearn's fighter, and Hearns is still in bed with him, and that'll make him look bad. But dude, give my man his shot. He been waiting for 3 years. 3 years. That's torture, bro. He don't deserve
right.
that treatment, man. Get that man his shot. Get that man his
It's
shot.
really bad treatment of Benavidez, man, because I mean he's fighting all the other guys that's top in both divisions in 168 and 175, aside of getting his title shots. He's knocking off all of the contenders. And, like it's only right to give him this shot eventually, man.
Bro,
Like,
he's doing the right thing that everybody talk about. You got to work your way and fight your way. He's doing that and still not and still getting shafted. I've said it before, man. Boxing is one of those sports where it is so unfair to an extent that you get a fighter who's doing the right things, going to the gym, fighting the top contenders, and you still got to wait your turn, bro.
Hey,
Not,
hey,
man.
hey, check
Go
this
ahead,
yeah, but
out.
bro.
I got a.
let Turkey call it out. I mean, he said he wants the best to fight the best, and he's not ensuring that with a lot of these guys all the way 100%. That just
Nah.
shows that with this particular situation.
All right. Hey, Cam and Rob, I got a question that's in the
Okay.
in the chat. If you remember,
Yeah.
Rob, we had Mike on here when you was going back and forth last week. Uh,
hmm
Michael said, "Was it okay for Wilder not to fight Dillian White?"
I'm
Mm,
okay.
yeah, go ahead.
You want to go ahead, Cam? I got
Go
I
ahead.
got okay. Yeah, because first of all, what happened was Eddie Hearn was the one who said, and I'm going to quote him: "The winner of Wilder, White can fight AJ." Wilder said, "Okay, yes, I'll do that. Put it in the contract, and then we'll talk about it." Hearn said, "No, we ain't doing that because a man's word is no good these days." The only time I've ever seen it really good was Wilder when he said, "I'll fight Fury once you get your life together." He told him, put it in the contract. And then he said, okay, since you want to take AJ off the table, because that was the only reason he's willing to go over was to fight AJ. He took AJ off the table and he said, okay, well, you give me 7 million and then I'll go over there. Not one time did Dillian White ever talk about coming to the US to do a fight. Never. Never. So it was all a part of. I think Hearns didn't really want that fight. In fact, he said the same thing to Kevin Franklin when he fought AJ. He told Dillian White, the winner, no, Jermaine Franklin, excuse me, the winner of that fight can fight AJ. Who won the fight? Oh, and who got the fight? I'm justified.
Mm-hmm.
Hearn backtracked on that one. That's coming from him. That's no shot at Hearn. He had two similar situations and did the opposite of each one. Dillian White don't deserve no shot. Even if Wilder did not fight him, Dillian White has sabotaged his own career. You sitting waiting on the IBS set up a mandatory between him and Pulev. He thumbed his nose at it. The WBC set up a fight between him and Brazil. He thumbed his nose at it. Only to a year later demand that the WBC put that fight back on the table. Then AJ said, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go to your door and knock on your front door. I got 3 titles for you, $4 million. Here you go. You ain't got to go through no portals, no nothing. I'm coming straight to you. No, that ain't. No, I want that. I want that. But I ain't getting no title shot. Stop it. Stop it. One Wilder fight, and the rest is his, and the rest is his. Stop it. Tell Mike, stop it. Stop
Facts.
Hey, Rob, hey, Rob, he said Dillian White is independent.
it. Independent of what? He deals with her on a fight to fight basis. And again, like I said, if he's independent still, bro, he still had opportunities to fight for the title outside of that one opportunity. AJ knocked on his door with some flowers and candy, a car, $1 million in his pocket, and he thumbed his nose at it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
I mean, Dillian White, man. Just, I mean, I would say this with just pertaining to him, just Hearn. Hearn blocked a lot of fights, man, when Wilder was champion, man, away from him because
Say it again.
all of the
Say it again.
a lot of
Say it
a
again.
lot of those heavyweights was over there in the UK, over there in Europe. And Hearn had a lot of those guys, and he was blocking so many fights away from Wilder and PBC, man. Especially specifically Joshua. Like I don't even think it was Joshua's fault 100% of why he didn't fight Wilder 100%. I think it was more so on Hearn. Hearn was just willing. He just wasn't willing at that time to put Joshua out there looking at Wilder because Wilder at the time he knocking out everybody moving in the early rounds at that around that time, and he didn't want to put AJ out there in that fire. And they thought that they was going to be able to get past Andy Ruiz at that time, and Andy Ruiz he ended up shocking the world. You know what I mean? But on the rematch, obviously, Andy Ruiz got lazy. You know what I'm saying? And came back, had a fat camp, and was celebrating too much. And, AJ get the knockout on the rematch. But same time, around that time, Hearn was blocking a lot of fights at that time. And I don't even blame the fighters more so. I blame Hearn because Hearn, he didn't want to put a lot of guys out there in the fire for Wilder to knock out for, his staple to look bad.
Okay, so shout outs to Michael Weir again. He said Benavidez would have had his shot if he didn't piss hot or blow weight. His own fault.
That's the past. I mean, we talk about it now. Benavidez is on a crazy win streak. The man is selling out arenas. He's doing his own pay-per-views now. Like the man's been interim champion for the WBC for 3 years in a row. Mandated to fight Canelo, and Canelo is running around talking about he won $200 million just to fight this man.
Okay.
Like, come on,
Mm-hmm.
let's be real.
Come on,
Dude.
Mike. You can come on. Mike wants to come on.
Oh, bring him in here. Get him on in here. Get him on in
Bring
here.
him in.
Get him in here. Come on in here
Bring
on
him
this Sunday.
in. Bring him in,
hey,
man.
hey, hold on. He said my man pissed hot. Canelo pissed hot too. I ate
I
tainted meat.
mean,
Come
yeah,
on, bro.
that rare taco meat out there in Mexico. Come on, man.
Right.
Be
The same one that
real.
All right.
Eric Morales ate.
So now to both of y'all point, I gotta say I try to be non-biased, so I'm gonna say you can't be selective with certain people and not wanna, you know what I'm saying? You can't say it about the left, you ain't gonna say it about the right. You know what I'm saying? When they both
Yeah.
been on the same trajectory. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
But
y'all,
Canelo's
yeah.
a cash register. That's the only difference.
I
He's a
mean,
cash
Right.
register.
He is. He is.
I mean,
Facts.
you got to look.
Facts.
Look at what Canelo's doing right now. This man is literally about to fight William Skull in Saudi Arabia
Oh
on
my god,
Cinco de Mayo in
right.
Saudi
dog,
Arabia, though.
bro, bro. And when they did the last fight card, in fact, I was driving home and Eugene texted me or inboxed me something like that. And he was like, the fight is on. In fact, I hit him. I'm like, dude, the fight is on. It was 11 o'clock in Vegas, and I'm like, bro, I'm just not waking up, and I got to wake up this early to see a fight. I forgot it was even on. I missed like 2 or 3 cars, bro. But that's the thing, man. Like he put this on over there, and what disappoints me about Canelo a little bit, and I don't knock no man for getting his money, man, from nowhere. But you was going head to head with this dude. We'll crush him. We'll do that. But now you signing with him. You signing with him for five. I heard it was 5 fights instead of the 4. I heard it was five.
Yeah,
A 5 fight deal.
apparently, I'm hearing like from what Jake Paul said in his interview that he did with David Benavidez the other day. He said that apparently this man is making 100 million per fight in this 4 fight
Oh
deal
shoot.
with Turkey.
I thought it was. I heard it was 80. It's probably 100.
He
100 million
pushed him
per.
away. This man had a whole contract ready to sign. He was locked and loaded about to fight Jake Paul before he signed with Turkey. But Turkey threatened him to take away the deal that he had for him, and he said, "Jake Paul, bye bye. I'm about to go ahead and fight some bums
Oh
over here in
shoot.
Saudi
Okay.
Arabia."
Well,
And
that
three out of the 4 fights is in Saudi Arabia. The only fight that's going to be in America is the Crawford fight in
Crawford fight.
September.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that. I just heard he signed with him, but Jake Paul posted the signatures on his platform, and I saw it, and I'm like, dude, if you got a signature, man, then that's kind of like legal grounds. But you know, I don't know.
Yeah, man, it's some real nasty work, man. Canelo, I mean, you just got to look at the resume over the last, course of the last couple of years. He's just fighting
Mhm.
the guys that none of the fans want to see him fight.
Yeah, man.
Berlanga, Mangia, John Ryder,
Yeah.
But
Jamel
And
Charlo. Like, it's just a true showing of cherry picking.
and check this out,
bruh,
Cam. I want to piggyback off of that. You right. It's like he's picking these guys with no losses, but he's getting these guys knowing they're kind of green. These guys ain't really, you know what I'm
Facts.
saying, experienced or whatever. So he's
yeah,
using the fact they got no losses to try to big up his victory. But people ain't peeping
yeah,
Facts.
that.
justify it.
Yeah.
Because all this William Skull fight is to get the belt back and then go into the Crawford fight with all 4 belts. That's nothing. When I heard that fight, I'm like,
Right.
bro, come on, man. Come on. They stripped you and now you're getting it right back.
And then they and
At
then
a,
the WBA they about to making Crawford relinquish his belt at 154. So he going into the fight with no title, just going just
oh,
shooting his shot straight for the 168.
I,
Undisputed if Canelo comes out with the victory versus Skull.
I didn't see that one. I saw the WBO stripped him though of his belt.
WBO, yeah.
I'm like, man, they like, yo, we all it's you know what, man, I don't think it's the business that's nasty, it's the people who handle the business that are operating nasty. And I was telling Eugene, I think Crawford should have took a tune-up fight at least 160 to get that weight, to see what it
Mm-hmm.
feel like. So when you go up only like a couple more pounds, it won't be as hurtful than try to make a 2 division jump, man, because Canelo's solid at that point. When you going up, man, and you trying to put on weight, you got to know how to keep your speed. You got to know how to keep your stamina up, your conditioning. Because if you throw a wide left hook and if you throw a look at 147 and you miss, it don't take that much out of you because you've been there. You know how to recoup from that. But if you throw a left hook or hard right hand and you miss at 168 and you ain't been there, that could take a lot out of you. So I'm gonna still go with Crawford at this point, just by a slight edge because his mind. But I won't be shocked if he get beat down.
Man, I just
Yeah.
don't. This weight, bro. I said it earlier on my live stream earlier, man. I just don't see the weight faring well for Crawford, man.
Mhm.
I'm seeing how the weight, like, cause I seen the picture of him the other day that he showed on his IG, where he's basically he's trying to add muscle along with trimming down the weight, and
Yeah,
it just don't look right to me, man. Like I said, I believe he's going to be more competitive than Jamel Charlo was versus
yeah,
Canelo, but I just don't see the weight being a good factor for him to win this fight. I mean, I think it'd be competitive. Canelo's a guy that's fought at 175. You know what I'm saying before.
hmm
He's solid. He's comfortable and used to the 168-pound division as far
Right.
as the
Right.
weight. It's just don't no Bud. He only had one fight at 154 fighting
yeah,
Nazimov, and that
Yeah.
was a tough, rugged fight for him. He had to pull that fight out in the championship rounds to close that win out in that fight,
And you make
and that
uh,
was
some
his only fight at 154.
yeah,
right. You
yeah.
make
That's what
some
I
real
say.
good points, Cam, man. Because like you were just saying, I agree, man. It's like at 154 when you was at 147 when you last had put the whooping on my boy
Spence.
Spence or whatever. But the fact that Canelo has reigned so long at that 168, man, and not only that, he just got a great chin, man. His chin is crazy. I don't think
Yeah.
Canelo's never been dropped, right?
Nope.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah,
He got a
so
granite chin.
yeah, he got a granite chin. So at best, Bud would beat him on a decision, and
Well, got to beat him
and
by
that's gonna be
points.
hard because they love Canelo so much. You know that go.
Bruh. And then you got to think of
Hmm.
the rehydration. He gonna come in at 168, but once he weigh back in, like unofficial, he probably gonna be a cruiserweight that night.
Right,
Canelo.
Yeah,
right.
most
That,
definitely.
bro, that's a tall
That's
order for
good.
Crawford.
And I'm rooting for Bud to win this fight. Like I'm
Me
rooting for him to
too.
win this fight. But I just
Me too.
don't see it, man. I just don't see it in no glance. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying. Nothing against the Bud Crawford fans. Everybody know I'm a big Earl Spence fan and stuff, and I know the Bud
Same here.
Crawford fans. They be at me like, Cam, you hating on Bud and da da da. I ain't hating on Bud. I'm just saying in general, I'm rooting for Bud to win the fight. I just don't see it. Just
Hmm.
with just the facts of just looking at Canelo. Canelo has a granite chin. Some of y'all Bud Crawford fans is out here saying that Bud is going to knock him out, which I just don't see it any capacity. Like some of the Bud
Bro.
Crawford fans, a lot of them be too delusional, man. Like
Yeah, yeah,
Man,
yeah.
dude, I was
they,
telling Eugene, like to make that. I said, I think the reason I see he should take a fight at 160 so he can get acclimated. Every fight I've seen where when one fighter makes that one jump and make that one jump, that clean jump, they have gotten beat. Marquez did it with Floyd, he got whitewashed. Mickey
Yep,
Garcia did it with Errol Spence, he got whitewashed because
yep.
dude, you make it one jump. That's a hell of an adjustment, man, on your body.
Yeah,
Like
because
you ain't.
then, yeah, AB
Go
went
ahead.
up to fight Maidana, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep.
yeah.
Mosley got away with it when he went from 140 to 154, but he fought Vargas. But then we saw what happened when he fought Winky Wright though. But like
And then just look at Bud. I mean, he's going to be a year and a month removed going into this fight from fighting Madrimov, and
bro,
it just
you're gonna
doesn't like you need a tune up. Like I would have loved for him to have a light touch at 168 just to see where you at 168.
hold on.
You know what I
Say it
mean?
again, Cam. Say it again, Cam. Say it again.
He need a light touch at 168 just to see where he at 168. Yeah, like you need that. You need a tune up just to get ready for the
Yeah,
power. Because the punch power is different at 168 compared to 147 and 154. I even
Right.
seen with
bro.
David Benavidez. He had in the interview that he did with Jake Paul the other day, where he was saying that the punching power at 175 is totally different than it is at
At
168. And
168, yeah.
he said himself, he's still getting adjusted to the power and everything at 175.
Yeah, the
Bro.
light heavyweight hitting different. And like I feel like David Benavidez, if anybody did stop Canelo, it would have been David Benavidez. He's the
That's
I
why
man.
think
Canelo don't
so.
want to fight him because
Yeah.
Canelo know what it is.
Yeah, he had to go to the depths with that fight. I'm gonna piggyback off what you said, Eugene. Uh, about going up into that weight, man. Like it hit different. Like he was hitting my man with some clean shots. I forgot his name. His first fight at 175, he was hitting clean. Some of them punches
Go
would drop. Yeah,
Demetrius
some of them
Evans,
right
yeah.
punches, man. They would drop anybody else, but my man was still standing there. Like, bro, Crawford ain't gonna have you. Like, you could hit my man with a with a wrench, a car, and Canelo gonna take it. Like, bro, that's all you got. And I think that's what's gonna happen. Like, once he see that you can't hurt me and you can't infect me, he gonna start walking him down.
Yep. Yep.
Cause you gotta get Canelo's respect early. And when I say get his respect, you like punches. It cracks me when fighters say he didn't hurt me. Punches hurt. Let me punch you in the face and see if it don't hurt. It hurt. Like, but you got to get
right,
his respect with the jab. Keep him guessing. What am I gonna do next? Am I gonna go to the body? Am I gonna go to the head? Am I coming to the left hook or right? That's what I mean by respect. When he fought Kovalev at 175, huh? Yeah. Now I'm good. Nah. Like when he fought Canelo at 175, like he got when he fought Kovalev at 175, Kovalev was just covering up all day. He wasn't trying to get his respect with the jab and come with the right hand. He was trying not to get hit with nothing because Canelo was walking straight in. When Canelo fought Floyd stood his ground. In fact, when at the opening bell, he went to the center of the ring and cut him off right there. And Floyd was just tagging him, hitting him, keeping him guessing everywhere. Look, that's what I'm saying. Get his respect. Crawford's gonna have to do that. Set the tone early, make him guess. But if you start to gas out around 6 or 7, Canelo gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna turn it on now. Look what happened to Wilder when he put on all that weight against
Fury.
Fury.
Uh-huh.
You went from 220 to 236. That's not your normal weight, bro. Your comfortable weight is at 220 and 216. It played against him.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely took a toll, man. He wasn't supposed to be having that much weight on him. Yeah, he's
Nah,
built like a basketball player for real.
dude, Crawford look
Or a
like that.
receiver. but he
Dude, Crawford look like what's that cat Kirby off Nintendo? I seen the last week. He look like Kirby off Nintendo. Though. He just fat and swole.
now let's talk about this. Something me and Cam had kind of messaged about, and Rob, when I get a chance tonight, I'm gonna add you to our group chat that Cam added me to.
Okay.
Um, what about the triangle? Daniel Dubois, Usyk, and Parker. However way it go, when all these three guys eventually fighting one another, how who's on the top? Who's gonna be on top of that triangle?
Oh, you can go ahead, Cam.
I mean, obviously it got Usyk right now because he got the straps right now, but of course, right now they mandated on Usyk and Parker to fight next. So I'm interested to see how that's going to go because you already know Usyk was looking forward to fighting the winner of that fight between Dubois and Parker, and obviously it didn't go down.
Mm-hmm.
And Dubois, he's looking for a fight, and I was looking forward to seeing a rematch with Dubois Usyk because that was a controversial fight.
Big time.
Obviously for us, the low blow for Dubois that knocked down Usyk. They said that it was a low blow. A lot of us, we thought that it was above the belt and felt that was good. I thought it was myself personally, but obviously I think with Dubois. If they do mandate that fight for as Usyk and Parker, then Dubois he got to get some work in. You got to stay active during that time
Facts.
because
Yeah.
you're going to end up eventually fighting that winner. No, you're going to have to see that winner eventually. And I mean, just look at the rankings. Just looking at who could Dubois fight. At the moment. You got Derek Chisora, he's at 2, but even though no, didn't he retire recently after that
He
last
got
fight?
he got one more fight, I think. He wanted to get
He got one more fight. I
he,
mean,
he wanted to make 50 fights, and I think he's at 49.
yeah, you got Fa Jigba. He's at 3 for the IBF and the heavyweight division, but he's about to fight Martin Bacoli
Martin
May
McCauley,
2nd.
yeah, May 2nd.
You know
Yep.
what I'm saying on the William Scode Canelo card. Frank Sanchez is out there at number 4.
Mm-hmm.
He already fought Anthony Joshua, which he just watched him.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Yeah.
Herkovic, he beat him already, which is that's he already got him on his list. They ain't gonna Herkovic got a fight coming up. See if
Joe
he
Joyce,
in the
yeah,
event
Herkovic.
maybe run that back. Moses, the young boy.
Oh
I
yeah.
heard he got a fight coming up as well in May coming up. So I don't think that'll be a guy. Michael Hunter, we know he ain't gonna be a guy. He got another fight I heard that's coming up. So
I
just
like
looking at
Michael
the
Hunter, man. I like him.
yeah, I like Michael Hunter. I mean that's a
He
nice little fight for Dubois. You know what I'm saying? If he was just to just to stay active right now at the moment. It's just I think with Daniel Dubois, as far as him being very competitive, I think he would want a decent name to fight.
yeah.
And
Or what
and be
about
able to cash
mhm.
out and get some good money.
Yeah, like Cabiel, he's another one. The WBC, is he an interim or something?
Yeah. Yeah, Calvin. Yeah, he has the WBC interim right now.
Yeah, he
I
he nice.
mean,
He nice.
I don't think they gonna push for that unless, yeah, I mean, unless Turkey is the guy to be like, hey, go ahead and make Ajit and Daniel get out there. I mean, I love to sit there and watch that fight. That'd be
Yeah,
a good
that'd be
fight.
a good fight. Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, but just looking at the landscape with Dubois, like it, it's a little limited out there, man. But I don't think he should sit there and just not fight at all and just wait for the winner for us, Parker
Right.
and Usyk. Stay active and fight somebody.
You got to fight
Go ahead.
somebody. Right.
I would say right now it's Usyk and then Dubois and then Parker. Like I
Okay.
said, man, but I thought Usyk had his trunks a little high, and so when he took that shot, he could say it was low. Um, but the thing of it is, even with that, I said that Dubois got stuck in that moment on that 5th round, and he lost total concentration, and he ended up getting stopped. And
Mm-hmm.
then, like a day later, he told boxing scene, "Yeah, I lost concentration after that round." And I think if they ran it back, I think Usyk could beat him now, just straight up, and or he would have to be rugged. I think Dubois would have to be really rugged with him and go at him the same because you can't like once you fight a guy, once you kind of see his tendencies, so he had to change a few things up.
Yeah,
Parker, I I was sold on Parker like early on, but I really wasn't sold on him because when he got the WBO, he made one defense against Huey Fury, which a lot of people thought he lost that fight, and then he went to the Joshua fight and then really put up a fight. He's reeled off some good victories after then. Uh, but like you said, I don't want Dubois to sit, and that's the problem, man, because they seeing like, yo, I can make upwards to 50 million in the one night, so why risk that 50 million fighting this guy, and I can possibly get knocked out and lose that opportunity. But at the same time, you eroding yourself. He's gonna rot, man, if you don't get a stay busy. Even if it's not one of them top guys that y'all just named, just fight somebody to stay active. If that's the case,
Right.
um,
I got a name that he could fight.
who that?
He's rough, good chin. Andrew Ruiz.
He'll
It's
beat
not that
Andrew.
it's not that. Will Ruiz get in the ring with him? That's the question. That's the question. He wants too much money for every fight he ever put up, except the last one he was on that when he's on the Imaginative card. Excuse me, with the Crawford fight.
Right, for Big Baby Miller.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a fight. I love to see that.
Hmm.
Is he
Yeah,
up for
Andy
it though?
Ruiz, he didn't have no stamina in that fight at all.
Man, bruh.
Big baby Miller, man. That worried me a little bit if he was to fight Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois, he'll mess around and stop him early
I
if he
think
got that same type stamina.
I think he'll take him out 2 or 3 rounds, bro. Like straight up. At this point, because he was somebody I looked up. He was somebody I thought I can go a long way just based on his earlier fights and when he beat AJ. But like you said, he went off and got fat and celebrated too much, bro. Like when you become champion, that's when you really got to start focusing. Even if you fight somebody that's not even real, a big name, you're a name. They trying to take your head off. He got comfortable. I think Usyk is. I hope they do mandate that fight so it could be a unification and he can get all the belts back. I think Usyk could beat him though. Uh, I say within 8 rounds. If Usyk don't fight, if they don't mandate that fight, I don't know who he gonna wait for next. Because I think Fury is retired right now. I think he just playing the game. Uh, I
Yeah, I
think
think.
Parker got to work his way back there, man. But he might even get shoved to the side for another title shot, man. It can turn out that way. It can really turn out that way for him.
I mean, yeah, you can see them literally probably not taking that mandate off the table with Parker
Hmm.
for the undisputed shot with Daniel Dubois.
Yeah,
No, that's a fight that Turkey. I know that he really was looking forward to, possibly making. You know what I'm saying? Because he was looking forward to get that fight over with Dubois and Parker.
right. It's off the table right now for sure.
No, it's still on the table right now for us the mandate with Parker and Usyk. But
Okay.
no, that though I would, that
Keep
that
going. I'll be right back.
unification trumps that unification trumps
Hmm.
a mandate fight. You know what I'm saying? You already know it ain't nothing for the sanctioning bodies to be like, oh, but we're gonna go ahead and make
Right.
this
Right.
happen right here. But the IBF is harsh. They're very harsh on mandate fights. But
Yeah.
Daniel Dubois has the IBF title in the heavyweight division. You know what I mean?
Hey, but they're to their credit, they're about the fairest ones out of all of them because they will strip you in a heartbeat. They don't care.
Yeah. Yeah,
They'll mess
they
up
play.
any.
I don't. The crazy part, I don't even be minding how they play the game for real. Cause I mean, I do like the weight limit that they got on the lower weight classes for us. They can't
Hmm.
rehydrate more than 10 pounds and stuff
Yeah.
on the day of the fights. Which is I know the WBA they was talking about implementing that. I don't know if they officially did so yet,
Hmm.
but I think in the lower weight classes that's well needed. So I do like some of the stuff that the IBF does. You know what I'm saying? For stripping some of these guys that's holding on the top. Now the Usyk situation, I
Hmm.
felt like it was kind of BS because y'all stripping this man. He just became undisputed. I
Yeah.
know we know Daniel Dubois is the mandatory. Yes, he's the interim champion. We understand that, but let let them fight again for that.
Yeah,
Let them
yeah.
fight again. Don't just strip Usyk just because y'all wanted Daniel Dubois to become the IBF champion and stuff.
Hmm.
I think that was a little ruthless as far as Usyk. A little
Bro,
ruthless on that end.
that's the second time they messed up a unification because you remember after when Fury beat Vladimir, they were supposed to run it back for and the IBF Kathy Duva jumped in and was like, no, 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 my guy gonna get a shot. Like I can't be mad at her for doing that, for trying to
Right.
get Glaskov, I think was a shot. But at the same time, they didn't even finish it like and the new they was taking the belt off Fury already. I'm like, come on, man. Like man,
Didn't
let
wait
right?
none.
Like let that man get his
Nasty
hand
work,
raised.
man.
But everybody else, man, but they played the game in that because afterwards, when they was about to run it back, the IBS said, "Oh, we didn't know that there was a rematch clause in the contract." Yes, you did. You knew about it. They have to tell you this stuff. You got to go in there and investigate that stuff.
Absolutely.
But because you was just trying to make your money off the fight. But they gave it to Glaskov. He ended up fighting Charles Martin for it, and then Martin beat him because he hurt his leg, and then Martin lost it to AJ.
Yeah,
It's
don't
nasty
mean to
work, man.
shit. Don't mean to switch gears though on the topic a little bit, but how y'all feel about TKO boxing? I know I kind of briefly talked about it on my live stream earlier. How y'all feel about Dana White getting into boxing with Turkey Sheik?
Go ahead, Eugene. You first. It's your show, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I got to do more in depth research on it. I knew it was going down, um, and it was a podcast who was covering it, but I didn't really get a chance to delve deep into it. I probably will tomorrow or sometime this week, to kind
Yep.
of get an idea of what their direction is or what exactly they're trying to do or how long they're trying to do it for. Because it's like,
Yeah, I
are they
mean,
trying to fill in the shoes of other promoters and trying to be
Mm-hmm.
like Eddie Hearn and Don King and all these other guys?
yeah,
Uh,
it's a real interesting thing as far as that. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Cam.
Yeah, I mean it's
Okay.
real interesting right now with them. They have pretty much from Dana White, he's basically saying that they're building everything from the ground up. As far as they're getting some of those amateur boxers, some of those guys in the beginning stages, and trying to build them up into stars, into one actual league. It's only a limited amount of divisions. It's not the full 19 divisions that we have. In current boxing. It's going to be like I think 10. They said, I believe.
The
And
standard 8.
yeah, the standard, yeah. So the standard eight, and
Mm-hmm.
of course, it's going to be one belt in each division, and so they're doing everything UFC style. And if you look, they got rumored purses for these guys already out already, which is these purses is nasty work, man.
Yeah, I
They were
seen them.
saying that 20,000 for the unranked guys and 10 rounders, 50,000 for the number 5 ranked guy in a 10 round fight, 125,000 for the number 3 guy in the top 4, and 375,000 for the title challenger, and 750,000 for the champions that's defending their title. So they got these UFC type purses, man, and I just don't know how well it's gonna do with boxing, man. And of course, you gotta, of course, with them trying to, if they're trying to literally trying to take over and become like the premier, promotion for us boxing, you got to deal with a lot of these other promotional companies that got some of these stars that they're going to convert because you're going to have to get stars to come over there, and if they can't convert getting stars to come over there, along with you got to deal with the sanctioning bodies. And I'm hearing that they're trying to get rid of the Muhammad Ali Act, which is I don't
Yep.
think that's going to bode well because you got to get the Senate to sign off on that. And that's 60 people to sign off on that, and they're not. And of course, it's mainly Republican as far as the seats. They're not going to sign off on that, and I don't think Dana White and and Turkey Al Sheikh has the connections to get rid of the Muhammad Ali Act. You know what I'm saying? That's a real coveted thing that keeps safety for us the boxers, for as they're concerned. So TKO boxing, it's an interesting project. I don't see it working, with how boxing currently is. But I'm interested to see if it works and see how they move with it. I know Dana White is on record saying him and Turkey Al-Sheikh, he said that as soon as he's done with his obligations with the other promoters for his Riyadh season and stuff within these next 18 months, his focus will be directly on TKO boxing after these next 18 months that he has scheduled and everything. So Turkey obviously has a plan mapped out for everything he has going on for his Riyadh season and Ring Magazine and dealing with the other promoters that he works with currently. But those other promoters better be careful because Turkey, he didn't already built relationships and stuff with a lot of their fighters and stuff. Turkey could be looking to try to snatch up some of them fighters over there, bring them over there to TKO boxing, man. So the promoters, they better have their business tight and locked in with some of those fighters that they got, because Turkey, he will try to take some of those fighters all over away from them and bring them over there to TKO boxing, man. That's a real hard pillow to swallow for us, those promoters, if they allow that to happen. And that's why I think PBC, they did a good job as far as their dealings with Turkey. As far as like, yeah, we'll send a fighter over there to fight on your card, or we'll give you this fight. We'll give you Pitbull um what's his daggone name that just lost his
Garcia.
title.
Oh,
Um
not Barrios.
the Gary Tom Russell that just lost his title.
Jose Venezuela, something like that.
Oh yeah, on Rayo Valenzuela.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we'll give you Pitbull and Rayo Valenzuela. We'll give you a fight, here and there, or a fighter here and there on this card or there. But we're not going to just, allow you to take over our business as far as, working in depth with our fighters and funding our cars and everything. PVC has everything locked in. They have a great deal with Amazon Prime, one of
Mm-hmm.
the biggest apps in the world. And the other promoters with Top Rank and Matchroom Boxing and Golden Boy and Frank Warren with his staple over there with Queensberry. A lot of those guys allowed Turkey to fund a lot of their events, and that they got he was allowed to build a lot of relationships with a lot of their fighters. It, the money talks to a lot of these guys, man. That if they with guys coming off of them contracts and Turkey able to grab them up, he will try to grab them up. So it's time for those promoters that was partner up with Turkey, Oscar De La Hoya, Frank Warren, Bob Earl and Top Rank, they kind of shifting away from Turkey a little bit. They kind of shifting away from them because they're trying to do their own thing. And of course, Top Rank right now they're in a situation where their contract is going to be up in the summer with ESPN.
Yeah.
So right now I heard they're supposed to talk in this month about reing up a deal with them, but they're going to have a lower pay scale for as ESPN supporting and funding them than they had before. I heard they was getting like close to like 50 million a year at the time. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And so with Top Rank, they're in a new situation where they're trying to find a new network and they're kind of drifting away from Turkey because that situation with Big Baby Anderson as far as fighting Martin McCauley, that left a sour taste in Bob Earl's mouth a little bit. He didn't like how that went down because they went directly with
Mm-hmm.
at Big Baby and offered him
Mm-hmm.
the fight, and Big Baby took the money. Big Baby got he only made about a little bit over 500,000 in that fight. He didn't even make over 1 million,
Yeah.
and apparently that was the most money that Big Baby made in his career. So you see Top Rank, they're drifting away from him, but it's time for those other promoters like I was mentioning about Oscar De La Hoya, Frank Warren, and Eddie Hearn. It's time for them to do their job. Y'all been sitting there, you know, taking Turkey money, funding y'all events and everything, and allowing him to work for y'all for doing making fights happen, like fights like Baturbiev and Bivol. It was fights that Top Rank and and Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, they could have been making that fight themselves. They didn't want to
Dog.
make the fight themselves. They didn't want to fund the fight to make it themselves. And that's the problem with those promoters. They need to do their job and make the fights themselves and stop depending on a guy like Turkey to fund their events because that money is not going to last long. Turkey is trying to send all of them guys over there to fight over there in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, they won't fund Turkey anymore because he's losing a lot of money. He's losing millions of dollars on his events. They only want him to do events in Saudi Arabia currently right now.
Yep.
So all of the events that he's doing outside of Riyadh season, like the Ring Magazine event May 2nd, and the event with Anyway, because he does got a little deal with Anyway currently too. And the events that he got coming up, like he's that's his own dime. That's not Saudi Arabia funded money that he's that these fights that he has going on in America and stuff. That's on his own dime, and so that's why he said he's in 18 months he's going to be focusing strictly on TKO boxing. He's not going to fund all of these guys' money. So Turkey's about to take money away from funding you guys. So you guys, these you promoters, Oscar De La Hoya, Frank Warren, and Eddie Hearn, it's time for you guys to do your job. Do your job. Fund these events. Make the big fights happen. Because y'all weren't doing it before. Y'all been doing a lot of hiding for a lot of certain fighters, specifically, Anthony Joshua. I mean, the man, you see what he did. He ended up fighting a Ngannou, and then he ends up fighting Daniel Dubois and getting washed. You know what I'm saying? So it's time for those promoters to do their job. The TKO Boxing Project, I'm interested to see how it works. But we'll see. I don't think it's going to work the way they got, especially if they paying the fighters the same way that they're fighting. They're paying UFC fighters over there. I don't think it's going to work.
I
Of
don't think
course,
so either.
Dana White. He's a guy that just got. He had to pay former UFC fighters just
Yeah, I
now
heard.
$375 million just now.
I heard. I saw that.
They sued him
So,
for over a billion. But they settled for 375. Go ahead, bro.
okay, hold on. Me. Let me clear my throat. First of all, you already hit on a lot of points. My father once told me, once a man show you who he is, you better believe that's who he is. Turkey has shown Eddie Hearn, Top Rank, Oscar De La Hoya exactly what he is going to do, and they are so stupid to continue to work with this man. That man said, "I am going to crush all promoters." And the last time I checked, Eddie Hearn is a promoter. Queensberry is a promoter. He's already shown them what he's about to do. Like you alluded to, Cam, I said the same thing. I said, if I was Eddie Hearn in Queensberry, I'd be checking the temperature of my fighters because you won't be able to sell this thing without no top fighters. Them 700,000, that's good for the average working cat like me and you. You know what I'm saying? I get in there for 500,000, something like that. That's for me and you. B-level fighters
Right.
between D and B-level fighters. That's what that's for. But the A-listers that's making 2 million, 3 million, you ain't getting them, bro. And
Hmm.
they talking about Dana White said the boxing scene, we already got 150 fighters lined up, ready to sign, ready to go. I said, okay, when are you gonna get these fighters? You all they're doing is sitting and waiting for these contracts to run out from Eddie Hearn, and then he gonna go snatch them up. And they so stupid because they gonna end up getting put out of business. And they don't see that either they see it and they don't care and they're just trying to take the short money, or they see it and they don't care and they think they gonna just take his money and continue to do what they do. He's already shown them. Bob Arum said about the Anderson situation. He said he went right past him and talked to Piccoli and talked to Anderson. That's illegal. But Bob Arum said, "Oh, I got my cut, so it was okay." The TKO thing is not going to work because number one, what they're going to do, they're going to lock these guys in, and they're probably going to put clauses. Once you monopolize something, you could put clauses in the contract. Okay, you win this many fights, I can re-up your contract for another 4 or 5 years. Or I can do this another fucking. When you monopoly, you can change things. Like, dude, when Netflix go up on their income, they don't send out no questionnaire. Oh, we're gonna raise the price. Do you think we should raise the prices? No, they just do it. That's exactly what's gonna happen to them paying them UFC style. Eddie Hearn them could have been making these fights, like you said, a long time ago. Even Eddie Hearn had the audacity to say out of his mouth, oh, the Dubois AJ fight couldn't happen without Turkey money. Really? Like AJ didn't have a following in the UK for years? Are you kidding me? That fight couldn't happen without Turkey. Yes, it could have. Now, where I do give Turkey credit is you're taking another big name fighter and putting him on the undercard, like Shakur and Andrew Reeves and all of them guys. But you can still keep the top core like Usyk Fury could have happened. But you got money, and you might put somebody lower on the undercards because that requires money. All he's doing for the undercards is stacking names on there. But the other fights could have happened.
Absolutely. I was
The
just
other
about to
fight could
say
have
that.
been happened. They could have been happened. You could have just put some lower guys on the undercards, some showcases, but they could have been happened. Turkey is still literally trying to steal boxing and take it over there. And I don't think it's going to work because, like you said, you got to get Congress to sign off on that. And when they see what's going on, they're not going to sign off on that. And where and how are you going to lure these big guys into there? You, Eddie Hearn, stop being stupid. Look at what he's doing. Pay attention, please. I'm no fan of Eddie Hearn like that, and I'm not a fan of Queensberry and all the rest of them guys, even top rank, because even Billy Keene's lawsuit, which was very calculated, by the way, because Billy Keene has a relationship with TKO. It was very calculated to sully their name so don't no network or distributing people can touch them now. Oh, you were involved with Daniel, I forgot how to say his last name. You involved with a drug lord, a kingpin? Oh, we ain't gonna sign up with you. We ain't gonna put no distributor and put your fights out on here. You dealing with drug dealers and kingpins and killers? But look at Turkey background. He has somebody put in jail for making a tweet for him for 8 years. A guy made a tweet for him, and he's been put in jail for 8 years. He had an American journalist executed for writing something unfavorable about him. His background is just as dirty.
Mm,
I did homework on
ugh,
that dude. His background is just as dirty, dude. They better wake
facts.
up, or they gonna find themselves put out of it, and it will be their own fault. Their own fault. PBC was the only one, like you said, was smart enough to like, yo, we ain't gonna partner with him. And I'm telling you now, he's partnered with the WBC, and that's why they're still kissing up. And they got this Ream magazine. As soon as he gets done and he sets up what he wants to set up, they all out the door. They all out the door. And they better wise up and pull back right now. That's the only way it's gonna happen. But they so stupid and blinded by these big fights and these big contracts that they get money. That's how he's doing. He's blinding them. And dude, 95% of the boxing world can see what Turkey is doing and saying that. But anybody who comes out and says, "Yo, you just hating on Turkey, you hating," no, you can point out the BS and enjoy a good fight card. Both is
Facts.
possible. Both is possible. It's not gonna work, bro. Them UFC, them are UFC standard fights. You can only get the B-level guys to sign up for that. It's not gonna work. I did all my homework. You know what? The homework came to me. I didn't even have to go do research because Turkey put it out there for all of us to see. He's not hiding his agenda.
Absolutely.
He's not hiding it. He's telling Eddie Hearn, "I'm gonna steal your fighters, bro. I'm gonna come into your house. I'm gonna put my dirty cowboy boots on. I'm gonna come in your house and I'm gonna grab my feet on your couch." And he doing it. And he
Facts,
doing it.
man. He
He
just
doing it.
cooked. Yeah.
He cooking them, bro. And they so stupid, man. If they don't wise up, bro, they're gonna be out of boxing, and PBC gonna be the only one left standing. And Dana White already said the boxing scene. He said it on another podcast that I heard, and he said it last week to somebody else who interviewed him. I am not working with no other promoters. I'm gonna be in my own bubble. What does that tell you? What does that tell you,
Hostile takeover.
bro? But if Al Heyman said that, oh, it'll be mass hysteria.
Man.
It'll be mass
Man. That
hysteria
is,
everywhere.
it
Wake up, Eddie
amazes
Hearn.
me that they really give Al Heyman like, and it'd be a lot of black boxing fans. They be giving Al Heyman a lot of flack on, a lot of fights and a lot of fighters and stuff. His brand with PBC and everything. He gets so much flack when he's doing everything the legit right way in boxing. They are making events in boxing to make a profit and to further the sport of boxing. And on top of that, they're making the fighters work for their worth.
Bro, Cam,
They're building fighters, they're building champions, they're building guys in the stars that's becoming pay-per-view stars. We're watching in front of our eyes with David Benavidez. Right now, he's a future star right now that's really doing his thing in the sport of boxing, and he's a PBC guy.
bro,
Well,
Cam.
let me say this. Uh, my favorite. Well, I'm a Spence fan. He's PBC, but my favorite PBC fighter to me, who has a throwback mentality, is Sean Porter. I mean, he's
Mm-hmm.
retired,
Fact.
but I feel like he set the bar. That's how you're supposed to do your career. That's how your resume is supposed to be. No more cherry picking,
Absolutely.
no more ducking, no more hand picking. You fight the best, and then you sell off in the sunset, and you feel real good about yourself.
Bruh,
Facts.
Al
That
Heyman, he did two things to the fighters, man. He gave them their own stuff. If you look at it, he set them up so they can have their own stuff. Bob Squad Enterprises, Lions Only, Man Down. They not dude. They hate him because he took the power from the promoters and he promoted them themselves. But Turkey is doing the exact same thing in terms of using a de facto promoter. He's using Eddie Hearn and Queensberry the same way that Al Heyman uses everybody
that's
else.
same
The same
shit, man.
thing, and they give that man hell for it,
For
bruh.
real, man.
It's
I mean,
ridiculous.
you just look at PBC. What they've done. They've built stars within every division that they had because they got over like 250 fighters over there.
Yeah, yeah,
So they got the biggest roster out of all of the promotional companies for boxing. And you just look at them for us how they did at that certain time for us Porter, Danny Garcia, Thurman, Earl, and some of the other guys that they had in that 147-pound division at that time. They made all of those guys fight each other, and they
yeah,
all fought each other.
bro. But they was
Like they
getting hell for
literally
fight.
they
They was giving
it
them
was
hell for
like a
doing it,
tournament. It was like a tournament style for that division at that time. And anybody hating on that because we had the best fighting the best in the 147-pound division. The only person that was standing on the island was Bud Crawford because he over there at top rank. And there
bro,
wasn't no guys over there at 147. And we telling
bro.
Bud, come to PBC. All the smoke over here at PBC. Bud like, nah, I'm gonna um fight Pascal and fight Amir Khan over here at top rank. Like
Bro, when his contract ran out, they said, and it was public. He said that Top Rank made him an offer that he could not refuse, and that's why he re-upped with him. I said, bro,
he
that's your
chose
own
the
fault.
money.
He chose the money.
He
He
chose
said
the
that out of his
money.
own mouth. You are a, and I understand this. You are a big fish in a little pond over there. When you come over to BBC, you were just a fish. You got to earn to become a big whale over there. But no, he stayed over there, took the money, and re-up with him. And Bob Arum kept saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get you to fight. I'm gonna get you to fight." And then when he was after the Sean Porter fight at the press conference, he said Bob Arum wasn't trying to get me that fight, and I said, "Oh, really? Duh, duh, duh." And that's when the law. I don't think anything came of the lawsuit that he filed against Arum. I think they dropped it or something like that because he ended up fighting Errol anyway. But the fight could have been
Yeah, he
happened.
dropped it. He
Okay.
dropped it because they weren't gonna do nothing with that lawsuit for real. It was a waste of time.
Yeah. Nah, man. It's Turkey. You know what, man? Turkey. His motives is what bothered me. He doesn't love boxing like Bob Arum loves boxing. And as much as I don't like De La Hoya, like De La Hoya loves boxing, like Eddie Hearn loves boxing, like Queensberry loves boxing. They put their heart and their souls into this. He's trying to buy his way in. He don't care about it. And when the money starts to dry up, he gonna pull away from them, and they all gonna be looking stupid. You better wake up, Eddie Hearn. If you watching Queensberry, dude, he showed you his cards. He's showing you what he's doing. Wake up, bro, or you gonna be like I said. You better go check the temperature of fight. Like, man, hey, look, Turkey gonna offer you this money. You gonna go? Okay. You gonna go? You gonna stay? It's gonna be a sad day for them, man, if they let this happen. And I ain't gonna even feel sorry for neither one of them because you gave this man the keys to your house. Like I said, he came in and grounded his feet on your couch, and y'all ain't even whip his legs. Y'all let him do it.
Facts.
Well, man, I'm gonna wrap it up in a little bit, but I want to ask y'all two more questions. These
Okay.
are these are
Look,
more or less like hypothetical. So at one point, Cam, you mentioned Moses and Tuma. I like him. And we also at one point mentioned Big Baby Anderson. Moses and Tuma versus Big Baby Anderson. If they were to fight, how's it go?
I got Moses.
Me
I
too.
got Moses, man. It's just Big Baby. Just I don't think he's a true heavyweight guy. He's a guy that should be fighting at cruiserweight, personally, in my opinion. Like that heavyweight division, like I knew it was gonna be a problem when he started fighting like kind of the bigger guys in the heavyweight division because he's a light guy at the heavyweight division. And he just looks more of a guy that should be fighting at cruiserweight, fighting, the Joe Opatas. You know what I mean? But I got Moses. Moses is a dangerous guy in the heavyweight division for sure.
I got Moses too, man. I don't think Baby has fully recovered from the Bacote beating. Like his last fight, he was kind of iffy. He was on the wall. Uh, I think he needed about some more confidence building fights. That Bacote fight took a lot out of him, man. Like, and that's why Aram didn't want it for him at that point. Like he hadn't even gotten to a point where he can even, you know, stand something like that. So I got Moses winning. I don't say easily, but I got him winning.
Okay, that's what's
Uh,
up, man. And the other question about the fight that we hope happens this year, or it has to happen next year, or it ain't gonna happen. Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis.
Go ahead,
Tank,
Cam.
I got Tank by knockout, man. I think the fight will probably materialize next year. Just looking at the landscape for us, Tank, Tank he got, roast business for June 21st. And then possibly I think the other fight, the third fight that Tank will possibly have this year probably would be Lomachenko. 'Cause Lomachenko, his manager, Aegis Kilmas, he just came out in a recent interview on YSL Media, basically saying that the fight that Lomachenko wants for a comeback fight, he wants to fight Tank. He
Okay,
wants to fight him instead of Shakur Stevenson. So look forward to possibly seeing Tank. If he beats Lamont Roach, look forward to seeing him possibly against Lomachenko possibly towards the end of the year. But if Shakur and Tank they do line it up, it looked like it'll probably be 2026. Shakur, he's a guy that he said he's only going to fight twice this year. So we're waiting to see who Shakur will fight next. You may see Shakur on the Canelo Bud card, possibly in September for an undercard on that fight. Possibly that'd be a good look for Shakur. But I got Tank beating Shakur, man, by knockout. I just think Shakur with his brittle hands and him being trying to be too defensive minded, and Tank being a guy that know how to cut off a ring and has a high IQ and know how to set traps very well. I just got Tank just beating Shakur. I just don't see Shakur winning that fight. I think that'd be an easy fight for Tank, honestly, a more easier fight than Lamont Roach, honestly, in my opinion. Because Shakur's not going to try to exchange anything back. He just wants to be on defense all day. You know what I'm saying? And counter all day, and that's not going to work on Tank. Especially
Nah.
with you don't if you don't have no power to make Tank respect you. Because Lamont had a little power that Tank respected,
facts.
and Shakur having those brittle hands, Shakur don't have no power to respect Tank. I think Tank will run right through Shakur. It might be a worse knockout than it was with Frank Martin last year.
I got tanked by murder. I say within like by like 9 to 10 rounds. Like I said, I think once he feels Tank's power for real, especially those body shots, I think he'll start. I think he'll start folding up and trying to protect himself, and he'll go into a shell. And Tank knows how to cut the ring off. He don't just walk in like you said. If he's looking to counter, you ain't gonna counter him. Uh, I think that fight more so because of who Shakur's aligned with. That happens probably next year. I think he got maybe a fight or two left on his contract with her. Uh, I
Yeah,
think he would
yeah,
have.
I think he said
Oh,
one. I think it's supposed to be one, but
okay,
I heard two though. I heard two possibly as well though.
okay. So I think that contract will have to expire for him to be a free agent for that fight to happen. I don't think it'd be any cross negotiations happening for that. And so, with Top Rank pulling away from Turkey, I could see Lomachenko and them pulling that fight with Tank next because he's ready to cash out. I think Lama was talking about retirement, and usually what happens when it's time for you to retire, they just go ahead and cash you out. And I see Tank beating him as well. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm throwing this out there: if that fight does happen, it's still even him at 38 or 37, I think one of them, or 36. It's still a 50-50 fight. It's still a 50-50 fight, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm a Tank fan. I love him, But none of the fights that I have seen, even going into the Garcia fight, none of his fights have been 50-50. It's been like 100-1. This will be his first, either first or second 50-50 fight. But I still have Tank beating him. But if he does beat Lomachenko, he's gonna catch hell for it. Or you beat it and you be the old guy, he's a grandfather, and
You go
But
through
if he,
excuse.
yeah, and but if Lomachenko win, he's gonna be the greatest thing since the invention of wireless headphones. They're gonna turn on him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So either way, the only winner in that fight publicly for image wise is Lomachenko, but I still got Tank beating him.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, I think even with Loma and Shakur, like I think Tank can even if he don't even stop either one of those guys, I think he has the boxing skills to definitely still beat them by
Hmm.
decision for sure too.
Yeah,
And even with Shakur in that fight, like Shakur, if he think he's just going to be on defense the whole night fighting Tank and not, just trying to score points, you got to
it ain't happening.
understand that they're not going to give you the nod, man. If you're just sitting back being on defense and
Facts.
not having no aggression at all in the fight.
Yeah, yeah,
Tank's the money man. Like, so they're going to give the money man the
yeah,
nod over, a
yeah.
guy that's the B side fighter.
Dude, I was telling Eugene, it's a difference between backing up and fighting off the back foot and being effective like a Pernell Whitaker, like a Mayweather, and you're scoring with it, versus just going off the back foot and just trying to cover up. It's a difference, and that's what
Facts.
Shakur, and
Way total different.
that's what Shakur gonna be doing. He gonna be in the shell trying to fight off the back foot, backing up, not like slipping the punches and stuff like. No, he's gonna be trying to protect himself, and he gonna get knocked out that
Well,
way. You know.
that's
Yeah.
what Aegis Kilman said the other day. He said that Shakur likes to run and shell up instead of
Hmm.
fight like Tank.
Yeah, he's gonna
I saw that
clinch. He's
interview,
gonna be clinching a lot too, trying to, you know.
man. Dude, Tank ain't having that because, dude, I seen Tank, his, I call it the spin around. He be on the ropes and he just spin him real quick and be back in the center of the ring. I'm like, yo, that's some fancy footwork, and that's not going. But if he get Shakur against the ropes and trap him, it's lights out.
It's lights out.
It's
Yeah, easily.
it's
Yeah.
gone out of there.
So many ways: uppercut, hook, whatever. You can get Shakur about the way.
Yeah, definitely that.
Facts, facts, facts.
But man, it's been nice. It's been a nice day, man. Just talking and stuff, man. I'm just these next couple weeks with this whole thing, man. With the TKO, the big fights that's coming up. Uh, I heard Al Heyman is sick, man. Like sick, like like not feeling good, like not
Yeah,
really functioning well. So I don't know what's happening to that. I don't think that they would. Some people say that they're gonna get kicked off Amazon. I heard they're trying to put together a deal with Disney, um, to secure them, but I don't think they're gonna get put off Amazon, man. I
yeah.
think the first.
Jeff Bezos love what PBC is doing to Amazon. So
Okay,
their business is
okay,
kind of long term with over there.
okay, okay.
Of course, with Al Heyman, he is, apparently sick a little bit, but
Hmm.
he has the proper team around him, taking care of PBC business, and
Right, right,
he
right, right,
is
right.
more involved. Because last year he wasn't, they wasn't that much active this past year
Hmm.
due to Al Heyman's mother being sick last year, so he was taking care of
Ah,
her.
okay.
So
Well, that
that was a
explains
little
it.
bit reason why they wasn't so much active this year, but last year. But this year they a lot more active, man. You see they just had Keith Thurman fight, then they just had Fundora Booker last night. They
Right.
got Joyce Spencer versus Tim Zoo coming up in April. Tank,
See,
Roach too, June 21st. So they getting back for I heard David Benavidez is coming back
I
soon.
heard that too.
Jamel Charlo, he's coming back in May.
See, and Rick Glazer didn't put
Um,
that part out there. He just trashed Al
Another
Heyman.
name too, Caleb Plant. He's supposed to come back in May too. From seeing him, what he said last night too, in
Okay,
some interviews that I seen from him. So
I read that
PBC
from
back active, man. They back active. I love it. I love it. We
I
need
love it, dude.
PBC, man, because they putting on the best work in America for us boxing, and we need boxing in America to stay uh, up above water, man, for
Yeah, because
sure. That's why
it's
Top Rank they need to figure their situation out.
bruh, fast. Because you know what though, that lawsuit they said a couple lawyers said it's not really winnable on both sides because it's kind of like you got to go out and really prove that. I think it was more to do damage to their image, if anything.
Absolutely.
It could be some smoke in there. It could be what they say it is, but you got to really prove that.
And to what Cam was saying about the American and the boxing, I feel like this. This is just my opinion. You can let me know what you think. But I feel like it wasn't like American boxing needs to be resuscitated. Really, I feel like it was still strong. It's just the heavyweight division ain't doing much. But all the other
Mm-hmm.
Right.
divisions on fire over here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right,
Realistically,
absolutely. The heavyweight division is real lackluster in the U.S. Man,
Bad,
it needs to pick
bad,
up badly, badly, because
bad,
we
bro.
thought Big Baby Anderson was gonna be our guy, and Big Baby Anderson ain't our guy. So now we like, who gonna be our guy in the heavyweight division
I
for the
don't know,
U.S.
man.
now? Like it's
No.
looking shaky right now,
Hey,
man.
hey, you have to create him on fight night and fight with him just to get that to happen. It's bad over there in
Ugh,
that division, man. It's bad.
hmm
the worst.
But I think it'll be okay, man. I think boxing goes through these lapses, and you know they just got to re up and come back, man. But dude, that whole Turkey situation, man, I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think a takeover gonna last. Like anytime you tried to have one of those, it don't last because the money gonna run out. You can't keep paying exuberant fight purses because he said he's gonna lower the pay per view prices. You can't pay them high prices and lower the pay per view price because you're gonna be dependent. Fighters depend on that gate money and all that stuff, man. So like I said, if they do get their league, all they gonna do is drop the purses, and they're gonna be like, man, what you doing? And they gonna, well, we got you under contract now. You ain't going nowhere. So shut your mouth.
Right. they, they gonna be talking crazy about Turkey and Dana White. They gonna be trying to lawyer up and everything to get out them contracts, man.
Bro,
I just don't want
eh,
to see that for the fighters, man, at
I
all.
don't, man. Dude, and the ranking system is not any better than the sanctioned body's ranking system. It's basically the same treatment. If Turkey or Dana don't like you, you could be like, dude, he don't spray cologne on his neck. Oh, you said that about me? Okay, I'm gonna drop you in the rankings. Or you didn't like what I paid you? Okay, I'm gonna keep you right here at number 15. You gonna fight the best guy, but you ain't gonna never move up. It's the same thing, man. It's the same situation, except it's just a monopoly. That's it.
I mean, just look at Turkey what he's doing, but he's about to have a fight card on in Times Square May 2nd. Like, and he has three cards that weekend. He got that card, the Fatal Fury card that
Mhm.
Friday, then Canelo Williams Skull that Saturday, and then Nayo anyway. He's making his debut
Oh,
fighting in the T-Mobile Arena that
okay, okay,
Sunday on the
okay.
fourth. So those are three events. Nayo anyway may be the most profitable event out of all three because it's no gate for the Times Square event. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because they only had 300 people invited for us that, and then they just having a public watch outside of
Right,
that. And
right,
then, William Skull and Canelo's in Saudi Arabia. Nobody's going to be there in Saudi Arabia to watch that fight. But I'm
right.
interested to see if Naya anyway can pack out T-Mobile Arena with that Asian fan base that he has.
I,
Majority of the Japanese.
I think they'd do like 12. I don't think they'd fill up the whole 20. I think it's the capacity in there is 20, 25, something like that. I think they'd do good
Yeah, I
though.
think they said they was gonna seat it for like 12,000, I believe. So
Yeah, they'd fill
they
that up.
didn't want to set it the whole 20. So I
They'd fill
think
that
that'd be a
up.
good look. If he can sell 12, I think that'd be dope for him. I think that'd be a good look for Nollywood anyway.
Yeah, they'd fill that easily. All right, so I'm about to roll out, man. I'm about to get in here, man, and start making some dinner, man. And like I said, it's always a pleasure, Eugene, man. Thank you for inviting me on. Cam, you my
always,
guy.
Yeah,
man.
for sure, man.
We,
Salute
we
to
we
you,
all
bro. For
yeah, we
sure.
always have good
For sure,
conversation,
man. I
man.
gotta
Like,
get you on my channel, man. Talking some
okay,
boxing, man. I add you in my chat, man. Yeah, Eugene, definitely try to link them. So I definitely want to add them in the group chat and talk boxing because we be talking boxing in my chat that we got in on Messenger, man. A lot of us be
okay.
talking in there, and of course, I'll be doing my content on my channel as well, man. So definitely would like to
Hey,
rock with you on there for sure, man. I like your boxing mind.
hey, yo, hey, send me your stuff for your page. Let me know where
Oh
it
yeah,
is.
for sure,
Now,
for sure.
if y'all talk boxing during the week, I still work at FedEx, man. So if I see the bubble going up, I don't say nothing. I'm throwing packages, bro. So most like right now,
You are good. You
I'm
are
off on the
good.
weekend.
I'm pretty much throughout the week for sure. I think I will be live. I'll be live Tuesday night But then
Okay.
I will be live next Sunday for sure, like
Okay.
probably early in the day because they got it's two fight cards Saturday. Meyer Ryan two, and then they got the rematch for Tevin Farmer and Williams Zepeda Saturday night as well. So we got two fight
Uh,
cards this next Saturday. So I'll be
he,
covering them too.
okay. I'm off on Saturday and Sunday, so like that's why I try to jump on with Eugene as much as I can on a Sunday because I'm like, dude, I come home from church and I be like, dog, I need a nap, man.
Ah, yeah, for sure. I already know, man. Yeah, man. My channel, man. Subscribe to KMJ Network, man. I'm on there. I'm
Okay.
dropping content daily, so I'm just trying to stay updated and stay, active on here, man. So I did a live stream earlier today, for
Okay.
about a couple of hours by myself and stuff, but I had to come on, hop on with my boy Eugene. We networking, we building.
Oh yeah, that's
So
what's up. That's what's up. That's
Most
what's up.
definitely
definitely.
had fun tonight. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me on tonight, my man, for sure.
I had to. And if you look in the chat, we dropped a link for you, Rob.
Okay.
For
His
All
link,
sure.
right.
Cam's link is there. For anybody viewing, check him out. Check out
Oh
Cam
shoot, hold on.
and tap
Yeah,
in.
man, I'm dropping content
Oh shoot,
daily,
hold on.
man. I
Got
got
him.
some videos coming from my stream from earlier, and we working, man. We working for sure, man. I'm excited for this, man. This with my boy Eugene and Eugene. We are actually cousins, by the way. My girl we was talking over earlier. My girl, Lowry, the Spurlings Calhouns, we cousins. So me, you, and Shaka, we all cousins. We family, brother.
Oh wow, okay.
He shocked, like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I meant to tell you that earlier, but you know what I'm saying? But it's cool to let that know that because I was talking to Shaka earlier and I was letting him know about that earlier too, man. So yeah, definitely, man. We family, man. It's all love.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Yep.
All right, fellas, let me get up out of here, man. I'll holler at y'all brothers
All right,
later,
man.
man.
Salute.
Peace and
All
love
right,
to y'all.
man.
Yeah,
Yep.
salute, man.
Yeah,
For
peace
sure,
to
you
you,
already
fam.
know, man. Appreciate you, man. Having me on
That's,
for sure.
Oh
that's what's
yeah.
up.
Y'all guys take care, and I'll be
All right, bet that up.
in the chat soon
Okay.
on FB chat.
All right, I'm gonna inbox you, bro, for a minute, and then just send me what his name is, and I'll go right there and subscribe.
Okay, I'm gonna send it your way.
All right, bet.
Okay.
Yo, yo.
Yeah. So I appreciate Rob and Cam being on here tonight. Everybody in the chat room, uh, please hit the thumbs up, and also people who come on later tonight or tomorrow, drop a candle or a dove emoji for me, please. Just in the respects and remembrance of the late great Big George Foreman, because he paved the way in the sport of boxing for a lot of the heavyweights of this era right now. So all the Tyson Fury and Wilder and Anthony Joshua, up and coming Moses and Tuma, Daniel Dubois, Joe Joyce, all these guys, uh, the bar was set years and years ago in the golden era of boxing by Big George Foreman. And to me, in my personal opinion, nobody else will ever do it the way that Big George Foreman did it in this era of today. So make sure you hit the thumbs up, tell a couple of friends at the gym, wherever. Let them know about Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. Tell them to subscribe. And like I said, rest in peace, Big George Foreman passed away at the age of 76. Make sure you also take note. If you rewind back in this segment, you'll see up in the corner, you'll see where you can get the merch. We also have the merch link in the description area for those interested in like hoodies, t-shirts, hats, water bottles to support Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. So I will catch you on the next round. Peace and see you next week.